have often been considered the most complex entities in existence. Both possess an almost incomprehensible capacity to feel and express feeling. An unexpected acquisition of good fortune, the return of an absent friend, the birth of a child, and the spirit soars. But such capacity is not diminished in sorrow. The loss of earthly goods, a termination in employment, the depression of the mortal mind, strife in one's family, the suffering of the body, the pain of a broken relationship, the departure of a friend, the seemingly endless anguish felt at the parting blow of death. And the human spirit is crushed beneath the weight of life. What is the remedy to overwhelming pain? Will the soul rise again? How will it again find its wings to soar?
First of all, I want to say welcome to some very special people who are here. And they are our friends from Collier Park Retirement Community. And they're here on the front row. Would y'all give them a big round of applause? We have come tonight to share all kinds, we're used to performing tonight, today, to share all kinds of things with you. What we're here to sing and dance and talk to you about today is that we can find our wings to soar above the storms of life. We don't have to be destroyed by those storms. I actually wrote the show for this group back in July, and then the subtitle I put, Finding Wings to Soar, Flying Above the Hurricanes of Life. I didn't know that a hurricane was going to come in September, but somebody did somewhere, and so I suppose I had a little divine inspiration. I'll just call it that, even if you don't believe. I feel like I just good a chance of having divine inspiration as anyone. But a few years ago, in 1962, and I'd like to say I was not alive then, there was a songwriter who sang a song that many of you may remember the words to, or if you weren't born yet, you might know them anyway. But the song said, "Wise men say, only fools rush in. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin if I can't help falling in love with you?" They do this to me all the time. "Take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you." Shut up. Anyway, I had asked one of our graduate production assistants, Mr. David Cutler, if he would play that song by Elvis Presley on his piano, on his guitar. Would you please welcome David Cutler? Love is just one avenue where we find our wings to soar above the storms of life. Another way is through hope. And people find their hope in different ways. Martin Luther King Jr. said that we must accept finite disappointment while never losing infinite hope. The teachings of Islam and of Judaism offer the story of a man named Noah, a servant of God who refused to be bound by the social paradigms of his time. Instead, he kept his hope alive in a just and merciful Creator who rewarded those who kept faith in him. The story proposes that when a great flood came that covered all of the earth, that destroyed all living creatures thereon. Noah and his family were safe in that ark that he had built for 2 of all living creatures on the earth. And after 7 months, the ark came to rest on Mount Ararat. And then God spoke to Noah about hope. And he said, "It will come to pass that when I bring a bow in the cloud over the earth, that bow will be seen by you and me, and I will remember my covenant between me and every living creature on the earth. And the bow will be a sign," in essence, God said, "of hope for you and all creatures of all flesh." Here to sing about that today is Miss Allison Stewart. Doesn't Allison have a beautiful voice? Give her another round of applause. We soar above life's storms because of love and because of hope. Another way is through faith. In April of 1861, I would like to say I wasn't then around either, so just so in case you were wondering, I'm 12. The first shot of the Civil War was fired on Fort Sumter. With Southern states seceding from the Union in revolt, primarily against Abraham Lincoln's opposition to slavery, the president vowed that he would exhaust all resources in preserving the United States of America. With such songs as Follow the Drinking Gourd and Wade in the Water, African Americans concealed their plans to escape from slavery by way of the North Star and the need to travel in the river's flow to cover their scent from pursuing bloodhounds. Their songs, we now call spirituals, comprised a new genre of music in this nation that would give rise to what would be termed gospel over 100 years later. The songs speak not only of love and of hope, but of faith in one day when slavery would be no more, not only on the earth, but in a place called heaven. Now, I told them to sing really loud on this, so if they sound good, will you clap for them? Practice.
Right on, King Jesus, no man
I'm in charge, and I need some water. If I had a little something else, I'd share it with you. I'll see you after the show. Are y'all having a good time? If you are, make some noise. Over the past 50 years or so, about 1 million songs have been written about men and women who fell in love and thereby found their wings to soar. And at least that many songs have been written about men and women who fell in love and had their wings clipped. How many of you are in the later group, the latter group, had your wings clipped by love? Okay, a couple of honest people. How many of you fell in love and it turned out good? Well, we're just happy for you. Well, every year, we have, if you come to our shows, we have a dance portion. And this year I decided for the dance portion of this show, I would have the women dance to the songs about falling in love and liking it. Because women, you are forever optimists. And the men are going to dance to the songs about falling in love and hating it. Because we are realists. I'm playing, women don't get mad at me. Now, every year for the past 6 years that we've been doing this, I have been trying to finagle my way into the dance portion of this show. And this year I decided to finagle no more. I'm going to dance. Because I am so well. Now, I just want to make sure that y'all are good and awake. Is everybody awake? Y'all awake? Now I'm going to give y'all some parts, okay? Y'all going to help us on this. Because we need a little more interaction from you. So we got 3 sections here. 1, 2, 3. And so this section over here, when I point to you, I want y'all to shout something real loud, okay? This is what I want you to say. I want you to shout real loud. Work it. Okay? Real loud. When I count to 3, you do that. 1, 2, 3. Work it. All right. Okay, now this section over here. See if you can do better than they do. When I count to 3, I want you to shout, I know you did it. Okay, you ready? 1, 2, 3. I know you didn't. I didn't say I know you didn't. You gotta have some attitude with it. Like, I know you didn't. Let's do it one time. 1, 2, 3. I know you didn't. Okay, now this section in the middle. When I point to you, are y'all ready? When I point to you, I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3. I want y'all to shout, mercy. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Mercy. Now let's practice. I'm gonna put them all together. When I point to you, you gotta shout that out with all of your might. You ready? Work it. Mercy. Work it. Mercy. I treat you. Okay, now at different times in the song, just to make sure that you're still awake, I'm gonna point to you, and when I point to you, you gotta shout that out like the world's coming to an end, or we're gonna run out there and grab you and pull you up on the stage and make you dance with us. Where is Brandon? Brandon, you made me a promise now, so I better do some shouting out there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, would you please make welcome the winged and wingless dancers of Talent on Wheels?
when I'm trying to change color. Brandon! Sir? It's your turn. You said it takes after the show. You want to pass English, don't you? Actually, he's going to take a miracle of God. Now, I don't know about miracles. We have wings and swords. We got to make them tight.
Finish the show right here. You know, at a certain age, your body stops doing that what it used to do. I don't know exactly what age that is, but I'm there. Woo. You know, I know that y'all may have a hard time seeing me here, but particularly now that my hair's cut. I used to have big hair and you can see me all over campus. But every show that we do, of course, in retirement centers from Beaumont to Port Arthur, all the way out to Orange. And we go every Tuesday night and perform for senior citizens. And this year our show is about finding wings to soar. And every year when I start writing the show, I always think of my grandmother. My grandmother was And every year when I start writing the show, I always think of my grandmother. My grandmother was a wonderful woman. I loved her very much and was very close to her. And when my grandmother went to heaven at her memorial service, my mother told me, Keith, you got to go up to the piano and play, we called her Big Mama, you got to play Big Mama's favorite hymn. And I said, I'll never make it through. And she said, well, the piano's in a closed-off room, nobody will see you. So you can weep and cry and make a fool of yourself and nobody will ever know. And I said, oh, okay, I can do that then. But I think that some of you might know this song. It was my grandmother's favorite hymn, and it's In the Garden. And if you know it, I would like for you to sing along as I play. It's not just the members of our family who provide us with wings to soar. Many times it's people that we meet along life's journey. And in keeping with our tradition in Town on Wheels, even though we're not at a retirement center tonight, we have friends who are here who are from a retirement center. And so we want just to take this time right now and dedicate our performance to you, the seniors of America.
I am grateful to generations before mine for every sacrifice they have made to make it easier for me.
I am grateful to generations before mine for the beautiful music with which they blessed us.
I am grateful to generations before mine for the example of honesty, justice, and commitment to democracy they set for future generations.
I am grateful to generations before mine because of the love and care that they have shown us through the years.
I am grateful to generations before mine because of their sacrifices and perseverance.
I am grateful to generations before mine for their wisdom and insight.
I am grateful to generations before mine for challenging the ideas of the past so that we may continue to create America.
I am grateful to generations before mine for the sacrifices they have made to ensure the freedoms that we enjoy today.
I am grateful to generations before mine because they have paved the way so that I might have a brighter future.
to generations before mine because of the unconditional love they show us in our darkest times.
I am grateful to generations before mine, their innovation and perseverance in the face of adversity.
I am grateful to generations before mine because of their love and attention.
As we have traveled around over the last few years and visited with so many people and have learned about Wings to Soar, there has been one group of people in particular that you have shared with us about, and that is the men and the women of the United States Armed Forces. And we have yet to do a show in these past 6 seasons where we didn't acknowledge them. And so tonight it's the same. So many of you have shared stories with us about sons and daughters and husbands and wives who have gone away and fought on foreign shores so that not only we here in America, but people around the world can enjoy those freedoms. Because freedom is never free. And yet so many of you have shared with us stories as well of husbands and wives and sons and daughters and friends who have gone away to fight but haven't returned. So tonight when we think about Wings to Soar, to the men and women of World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, Operation Desert Storm, and Operation Iraqi Freedom, we honor you, we pay tribute to your lives, we give you all the glory, and most highly we resolve that your sacrifice will not have been in vain.
In the long and dark history of America, there are names that shine like beacons in the night.
Anthony Charles, World War I.
Patriots whose vision gave us meaning.
George Burton, Korean War.
Who kept the lamp of freedom burning bright.
Charles Wood, Vietnam
In
War.
the long and dark history of America,
Stephen
there
Atherton,
are those who paid the last and final price.
Carlos Diaz, Operation
Called
Iraqi
upon
Freedom.
by chance or in desperate circumstance to pay the ultimate sacrifice.
Richard Ellis, World War I.
Our great formation bows its head in sorrow,
Alan Phillips, Korean War.
and in thanks for guaranteeing our tomorrow.
Harry Kramer, Vietnam War.
I was thinking about this song that we're about to do, and actually, I was thinking, if I can find her in the audience, I was thinking about Diane. Are you here, Diane? Farron? Where'd you go? Did she run out? Well, when we were getting ready to start our season, of course, we had all evacuated for the hurricane. And then we had to come back and start over again. And Diane called me from, where did you evacuate to, Dallas? Tyler? Diane called me from Tyler on a cell phone in the middle of the evacuation with, 160,000 people gone from this area, and said, "We won't be at the home this week because we evacuated." And I said, "Well, we won't be there either, Diane, because we evacuated too." But Diane, and I don't think she would mind me sharing this, Diane lost everything in the hurricane. A tree blew into her home and split it in half. And she and her husband are now living in a travel trailer. And yet she's still going to work every day and doing her full-time job at Collier Park with you residents there. So when we think about having wings to soar, we think about people we not just have heard about, but people that we know. But there are those instances of people we have heard about who stand out in history like none other. An attorney in Chicago in the late 1800s. There's Diane. Would y'all give her a big round of applause? You knew that I told a story about you. I was talking about you living in a travel trailer after losing your home to Hurricane Rita. But look at her. She just glows and smiles. And I would go so far to say, Diane, that's the glory of God on you. So we thank you for all you do for us. Give her another round of applause. An attorney in Chicago in the late 1800s by the name of H.G. Spafford suffered a series of bereavements that left his wife and him devastated. First, they lost their only son to a very tragic illness. And then several months later, Spafford lost everything that he owned in the Great Chicago Fire. His wife and remaining 4 children, 4 daughters, boarded an ocean liner for Europe. But just off the coast of Ireland, that ship met with great tragedy. It split in half and sank to the bottom of the ocean. Spafford received a cable from his wife that read, "Saved alone," and he then knew that he had lost his remaining 4 children. Spafford boarded a ship himself to join his grieving wife, and just off the coast of Ireland, where the first sailing vessel had sunk to the bottom of the ocean, and Spafford had lost his remaining 4 children, in one of the greatest demonstrations of faith and hope and love ever displayed in the human race, Spafford left the deck of the ship. He returned to his cabin, and he sat at his desk and he penned these words: "When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well, it is well with my soul."
old, none is exempt. Legends dictate that the angels, too, face certain adversity. Created by their Maker, the angels know that they were destined to soar above the woes of all eternity. But the legend stipulates they cannot. Until they aid those created a little lower than they, their human companions, to find strength of their own through faith and hope and love. And then the angels find their wings and ascend. The eagle builds his nest high in the mountain, in the cleft of the rock. And he sits and he waits. And as the storm winds gather and begin to beat and badger all that is around that eagle, the eagle waits for the exact moment for the thermal winds on high to descend. And then he steps from the cleft of the rock. The eagle finds in the storms of life, he has wings to soar. Like the angels and like the eagle, in the storms of life, we too can find our very own wings to soar through faith, hope, and love. Wings to soar. Ladies and gentlemen, talent on wheels. Let's take one more round. Talent on wheels.
If you will, I'm going to ask you all just sit down where you are. And at this time, I want to introduce to you someone very, very special. First of all, did you enjoy the show? You know, we're very blessed in the Texas Academy to have a director who is not only nationally renowned, but internationally renowned. And she's the one that gives us the vision for all that we do. And it's with great pleasure and honor that I introduce to you the Texas Academy of Leadership in the Humanities Director, Dr. Mary Gagne.
I would like to begin by saying I have known this young man. I can say that because I'm an old woman too. And every time I am with him, I feel about 30 years younger because it is a pleasure to work with him. Let me begin by saying I have many things to be grateful for also. And first is for, and I can say this because it's from me, that God gave me a vocation. And it is a ministry for me. And I am trying not to get too emotional because that last song, every time I heard it, I cried. Because I heard Allison singing it before and now Keith singing it. And I lost someone this year. And someone who was very close to me. So excuse my emotional, feelings right now, because I'm filled with all that you do. And I can honestly say I love my job. And I love it because all of you. And especially Mr. Needham today. Now, I'd like to thank all of you for all the hours you have devoted to this project. And I'm realizing some of you have already graduated from the academy, and you choose to continue doing this. And, how special that is. I would also like to tell all of you that this man, I nominated him last year for the Ben and Julie Rogers Community Service Award. He won. Very competitive award, and he truly deserved it for all that he has done. In the summer, what he does is he begins writing this program. And then once he completes the script, he constructs the portable set, complete with the stage and the props and the dressing areas. Because, in the back there, I'm always afraid the curtain is going to fall because they're in the back there changing. Then he sews. I am not domestic, so I really admire someone who can sew and cook. That's Keith Needham. In addition to all of this, to me, he could easily be a minister because he speaks from the heart. And I see him that way. Over the years, he has produced many programs. The first one, as I remember, was Language of the Heart. The second one, The Spirit of America. Then Defenders of the Dream. Then I Hear Music. And then finally, this year, Wings to Soar. And I think he usually, we have someone here who returned recently from the war, one of our, ex-students, and I'd like him to stand because how much I admire you. He's also the president of the Academy. I'd like to add that too. As I said, I have many things to be grateful for. My father was a military person, career military. And with that, we were able to travel all over the world. I was born in Latin America. My mother's Panamanian. I claim Panamanian citizenship also. My father was Scottish. My maiden name is MacMunn. I do not look like a MacMunn. I look more like a Friday, as I am. And so I'm grateful for that. And also, I remember my mother, who is almost 90 years old. I call her every day. I wish she were here, because she would love this program. Would you? That's great. So I'm grateful for that, too. This man is incredible. He's also doing ends for pups, and I noticed we have the sponsors there. And to help animal shelter. He loves dearly and cares deeply. He has sponsored this program, as I said, for over 6 years. I spoke to him originally. I had a student who played the cello, and I used to take him to nursing homes, and he would fill, the nursing home with music. And I said, Keith, wouldn't this be nice to do? But I was just thinking, gather everyone over, take them over. No practices or anything. And then Keith developed it into this wonderful, wonderful program. He is a teacher, a director, an inspirational minister, as I said earlier, a comedian, keeps us laughing all the time, and a producer. But most of all, he speaks to the heart. The language of the heart that all humans understand. In all my years of working with him, I have never experienced an unkind word. I have only experienced great laughter and joy. So I thank you, Mr. Needham, and I also thank you, all the students at the Academy, for
We'll give it to you later. Thank you. I didn't know she was going to say all that about me, but I'm glad she did. It's all true. I'm going to ask Dr. Gagne if you'll stay up here. The last thing we want to do is to give these students their rightful, if it's possible, recognition. Dr. Gagne and I figured out one year that beyond the teaching that I do, I spent 500 hours that year in this. And so I figured that the students probably spend about 300 hours a year in addition to being full-time students in a college classroom. And I'd also like to tell you a little bit about our program, because some of you don't know what the Texas Academy of Leadership in the Humanities is. These are high school kids who, because of their work ethic and intelligence and dedication to academia and compassion for the community, were enabled to come to a university environment and take college classes during their junior and senior years of high school. And so by the time that they graduate from our program, they are juniors in college, and they also have an honors high school diploma. And so these I'm about to say children, but that doesn't sound right. These students are not only gifted, not only talented, that's become a cliche. These students are caring, compassionate citizens of the community. And I say every year that we spend so many hours together, but I want you to know, in spite of the fact that sometimes I yell at you a whole lot, Jeff, and tell you, we gotta get this right, I get it right. There is no place that I would rather be on a Monday or Tuesday evening than with you guys. So thank you for the work and your integrity and dedication that you put in this year. And Dr. Gagne and I at this time are going to call you up and present to you a recognition for outstanding community involvement and achievement. We're giving them the Lamar University official logo. You can't see it because it's a watermark, but it reads, the Texas Academy of Leadership in the Humanities at Lamar University presents an award for outstanding service for volunteerism in Talent on Wheels during the 2005-2006 academic year, awarded this 21st day of March, 2006. Y'all ready? I was supposed to have music playing. Oh, there it is. Okay, I thought maybe I did something wrong. First up, he's here as a senior, but this is his first year in Talent on Wheels, Deacon Barfield.